Welcome back to the Holy Shiftball podcast, where we get real about raising your frequency one giggle at a time. I'm Bethany, your energetic bestie, and alongside my fabulous cosmic bestie, Sharon. What's up?
Hello. Lots. What's up with you, Bethany? How was your week and what was your Holy Shiftballs moment?
Oh, girl! Wow, my Holy Shiftball moment. It comes like in stackables. So my Holy Shiftball moment this week was gaining of exactly what it is our sun, SUN, not SON, SUN
Yeah.
is projecting. Because what I have found is that our sun, just girl, 24 hours has projected, has allowed to come onto planet not one girl but 12 M class solar flares alongside of one X class solar flare. Now, this is the sun is projecting out light. Yeah, the earth is being supercharged with photonic and plasma light energies. With now here's what I found to be so interesting. It is ejecting, our human eyes only receive light 3%. Girl, we are walking around here blind as bats, thinking we
Absolutely.
know something, right?
Absolutely. hmm
We see something. We see something. But these solar flares are bringing infrared and ultraviolet. Now, isn't it interesting that snakes see light through infrared?
hmm
Bumblebees, queen bees, see light through ultraviolet.
Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. hmm
Okay. So the earth in which we go to receive through the earth is all being electrically charged. The air, the water, the earth as herself. And as my research started to really unfold, like there's been several beings that have seen balls of plasma showing up in the Earth's atmosphere on Earth. Now, isn't that interesting? I mean, so of course, me being me, girl, I'm going to say question, and I'm like, well, what is this doing to my body, being, aura, reality? Is this affecting me mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually?
Let me let me
Yeah.
help you with that.
Oh,
Okay. I
please.
can help you with that just a little bit. Okay,
Yeah.
so solar flares are an
Yeah.
amazing burst of energy from the sun, right? So it's like the sun sneezing photons all over the solar system. It's a cosmic firework. So they disrupt satellites, they mess with GPS, they make your cell service act like it's possessed. They create beautiful auras, and they occasionally give Earth's magnetic field a hold my beer moment. It's like, holy shit, look at this energy, hold my beer. So they can, but for us in our energy fields, they can give us heightened intuition, restlessness, head pressure or fatigue. It can make us tired because there's just so much energy coming at us at once. It can be a big emotional release. Oh my God, why am I crying over a banana? I don't understand. Like the emotions can just come out at unexpected times in unexpected ways. And they can also give us upgrades, downloads, clarity on issues that were, what's happening with this? What am I thinking about? Or, how do I address the situation? It can all of a sudden give us a download of clarity and truth. It brings a lot of truth to the surface. And sometimes it clears out old patterns. So, your
But
phone
here's
glitches, your mood glitches, your intuition suddenly goes to 5G, and your sleep schedule does whatever the heck it wants. So,
but here's the
a lot of energy.
interesting question, Sharon.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting question.
What?
Because I don't see it. Is it real? I mean,
Oh,
people. We've been taught, told, made to believe that because we don't see it, then it can't be real. But as you and I know, that energy doesn't work through the eyes, right? So yeah, I found that so interesting that these flares, and isn't it interesting that we tune in, log the television is telling you a vision through visual and audio on repetition,
Okay.
but they're
And you
telling
don't
us
see
a
wind,
vision.
but it's real.
They're
So,
they're what?
you don't see
We're not,
wind, but it's real.
I thought you said you don't see men. I was like, you know what? You're right. I don't. Wind,
Okay.
wind,
Okay.
not men. Okay. Okay.
Okay. You know what? My holy shift ball moment can wait till next week. It's fine because we've taken up, So we're going to introduce our guest for this week. Our guest is an amazing human being. Her name is Patricia Loff, and she knows that the true reversal of disease, she's the creator of the healing mastery system. Because she knows the true reversal of disease comes down to two things: self-mastery and expanding yourself into the full capacity of your humanity. Let's welcome Patricia to the show and find out how she shifted her frequency and saved her own life. Welcome, Patricia.
Wow.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh,
My pleasure.
wow. Wow, Patricia. I mean, you are just a total frequency, and I cannot wait to hear what was your holy shift ball moment that allowed you to step into your well, maybe through pain, that allowed purpose that's brought you here before us today.
I think there were several moments where I could have shifted, but I'm such a slow learner that I needed all of them all condensed into one moment. I started off being really sick. Actually, is really what compelled me to do something different or think of life differently than I had before. And like you said, it was through pain. I did all the stuff that everybody says you're supposed to do, and took all the pills and had all the surgeries and did all the things that were recommended. I had a great diet. I was an athlete, and I thought, look, what if my diet isn't good enough? Let's make it better, because that'll sure do it. And so I went on this wild 8-year macrobiotic diet. And at the end of 8 years, I was still dying. And so it was just so confusing, because if you're told by experts to do all of these things, shouldn't that make a difference? And it wasn't making a difference. And then one day my doctor said, I was really excited actually in the appointment, because they had told me at the beginning that it might take a few iterations and a few combinations of things before they got something that would work for me. And then I'm sitting in the doctor's office, and we're on like the 12th iteration. And I said I was really excited about doing this next thing. And he said, well, what are you excited about? And I said, well, like, we're on the 12th try of this combination of things that you said, by the time we should be getting close to something that actually works. And he said, what do you mean works? And I said, to something that's going to make me better. And he said, you're not getting better. I was just floored because
What are we doing? What the are we doing?
Exactly. And I said to him, like, what are we doing all this for if I'm not going to get better? And he said, well, all we can do is keep doing what we're doing until your body can't stand it anymore.
Wow. Not what you clearly not what you were prepared to settle for.
No. And I held medicine in this massive esteem, like it was the miracle that everybody said it was. And I was just, inches away from my own miracle, except I wasn't. But in my mind, this is what I was expecting. And so that day, I don't even remember what happened the rest of the day, but I know two things. My medical team and I do not have the same goal. And I was alone. I was the only person who could do anything. So then I lived near a medical library. So I went to study at this library for like 10 years. I thought if I knew more about tumors, I would learn how to not have him anymore. And if I learn more about disease, I would learn how not to have it anymore. And I also reasoned too, like which one of my specialist doctors had reversed cancer, and not one of them had.
One.
So what
Zero.
did they know?
Zero.
Yeah. Yeah. What did they know? They knew the stuff that they read in books. Well, I can read. So so what's the difference? Exactly. So I spent 10 years researching the research, going through the research about tumors and cancer and all that kind of stuff. I could have spent the entire rest of my life doing that and not moved the needle at all, because all it is disease and medicine, disease and medicine, disease and medicine.
Nothing preventative.
Nothing
And nothing
preventative,
curative. And nothing
nothing
curative.
curative. Correct. So then we got to the point where my doctor said I was going to be at, and he gave me 3 to 6 months to live. And I went home, and I knew the state my body was in, so this was not a surprise to me, and it was no big shocker. And I just went home, and I remember thinking, I've done everything. There isn't another thing I can think of. I did all the alternative therapies. I did all the research. And I was my own petri dish for like 10 years of trying to do the thing, find something that was working. And I just remember thinking, I don't have to do anything anymore. Like I'm at the end. And it was really a peaceful moment. But that was also my Shiftballs moment as well. Because if you don't think the universe has a sense of humor, 2 weeks to the day after I got that prognosis, after they told me I only had 3 to 6 months to live, 2 weeks to the day after that, I got a package of research from Candace Pert. It was new research at the time. This was how long ago it was. And I'd been studying medical research for 10 years, so I knew how to read it. I knew how to pick out the stuff that was necessary and, trash the stuff that wasn't. I got to page 3 and I went, I can do this. I think I can do this. And really, what do I have to lose? Because I really had nothing else. So I started playing around with what she had in the research, and in 3 weeks, I could tell a difference in my body. And for me, that was massive, like a positive
That's your holy
difference.
Shiftballs moment.
That
When
was
you
my
read
holy-
that and said, I can do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then the doctors wanted me to have another surgery. They said I would die without it. I knew I would die with it, because the last surgery I had, I could feel the life leaving my body.
Yes.
So I didn't have it. I demanded that they give me another scan to see because I wanted to verify where my body was at. And they said there was a tiny indication of shrinkage of the tumors. And they said it was within the margin of error of the machine that was doing the measuring. But for me, that was the first time in years and years and years where they were measuring tumors that they had shown any kind of shrinkage whatsoever. Usually it was massive growth. And this is the first time I didn't have massive growth. To me, that was enough for me to just continue. And I said no to the surgery. Didn't have any more surgeries after that. Slowly over the next 18 months, the tumors shrunk enough to disappear, dropped all the meds that I was on, had no more treatments after that, package of research arrived. So, and then since then, no recurrence whatsoever. So that was my holy Shiftballs moment, or at least the major one. And then since then, people have been asking me how I did what I did and could I help them. Then I went to traditional Chinese medicine school. Then I went to advanced Chinese medical school, and now that's what I do full time, or more than full time, is help people reverse their own disease.
That's
Wow.
an amazing, incredible.
Okay. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead. Something interesting that I find so fascinating about everything that you just shared is that everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. And so, as when we agreed and you agreed to come a part of this podcast, so this week I was like, Qi Gong, is that right? Is
Qi Gong.
Qi Gong. So
yeah.
All right. So I dedicated 2 hours of this week to really understand what it is that you facilitate and brought to the audience. And wow, what a state of presence that Qi Gong is that brought for me, because I was taught, and yes, yeah, YouTube is a special. I went to YouTube to try to figure it, and I mean, it brought me through working the elements, working in a way that I was not accustomary to, but it allowed me to step through the frequency, the energy, the vibration of being right here and feeling my way through the vibratory rate of my body. Would
Yeah.
that be correct?
So yes, definitely. It gets you. So in traditional Chinese medicine, they say disease starts with blockages of energy, but what blocks the energy? So in traditional Chinese medicine, there are 5 branches, and Qi Gong is one of them. Qi Gong also has 5 branches. So if you go to YouTube, you see all the beautiful movements, and that's meant to release the blockages that that we build up from, just a plethora of different garbage that human beings carry around. And the breath, so movement and breath are 2 of the 5 branches of Qigong. The other 3 branches, to me, are the most interesting and the most impactful, and they move the needle in such a magnificent way, and it feels and seems effortless. So the other 3 branches are intention, imagination, and visualization. All the
Yes.
things that you can't see, all the precursors to disease, yes, ma'am. That's the frequency part that really it has the most impact. The thing we can see the least, but like they say in Qigong, it's the world behind your eyes creates the world in front of it. And so it's all that
Oh, that's
unseen
beautiful.
stuff. Yeah, it's all that unseen stuff that contributes the most to the disease process. And so it's the unseen stuff that contributes the most to the disease reversal process. And so that's what I help people do.
And I can
The
support that.
unseen, unknown, unheard. Go ahead. Go ahead,
I
Sharon.
can support that because when I didn't know anything about Qigong, when I was diagnosed the second time with breast cancer, and I just walked into my house and said, universe, I effing reject this reality. It is not happening. Figure out a new, like the air was blue. Figure out a new plan, get your shit together. I'm not doing this. Because they said, you have like 2 years to live, whatever. And I was like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And that was in 2017.
Yes.
And so I didn't know anything about Qigong at the time,
Yeah.
but that's energetically, I changed and I rejected it. I was like, I'm not having it.
Yeah,
So
I think
understand what you're saying about changing the energy.
People don't understand that it is Qigong, but we're practicing it every day. We practice intention every day. We practice imagination every day, and we practice visualization every day. But it's the stuff that we're intending. Like consciously, we intend one thing. Subconsciously, we usually have a tidal wave of counter intentions. So I want to make, $1 million this year, but my subconscious tidal wave is going to say,
You're not worthy.
You can't do that. Yeah.
Because
Go
of the
sit down. Yeah.
So the programming we've had all our lives, our limitations
Correct.
were imposed upon us by others around us. We take on their limitations or their ideas.
Yeah.
And part of the process is just keeping yourself open and knowing that there are other possibilities.
100%.
But
someone else doesn't mean it's happening to you.
But here's the thing, is that we were told as a young child to sit in the chair, raise your hand, be a good human, get the right answer, to follow structure. Do not, you cannot think for yourself. This is what it is. This is what you're told. This is what it is made to believe. And if you do anything outside of that, you're wrong. And you have to question yourself. And when that's just not part of the you've been taught, told, and made to believe. But once you step out of that and start stepping in, and once you start stepping into the question, well, fuck, is that, we've been, when we were children, for me, I used to have a really big imaginary, I used to really, we've been taught, told, and made believe that that's not right. But that's where creation is made.
Absolutely.
That, because and I was talking to Sharon before, isn't it interesting that through the human construct that we all live in boxes as a 3D human being? Our house is a box, our cubicle is a box, our car is a box. But what is one thing to get back to the source and creation is
Nature.
through there's circles. The trees are circles. There's not a line. There's not a restriction. There's not a constriction. It's evolution is all about expanding and feeling instead of not trying to figure it out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I totally agree. We've been taught that all of that stuff is frivolous, but that is all creation. And we don't have to go out in nature. Like, we don't have to expect it to serve us from the outside. We can start creating from the inside, so then we have more impact on the outside. So we're the impact and not being impacted. So that's where healing mastery comes in.
Beautifully put. So how do you teach how do you teach your people to how does your healing mastery system work?
It's kind of a big system. So there's like 12 key areas that most impact health, and that's that process that happens before we actually get a symptom. The mind, the emotions, the body, the energy. Are we participating in our own growth, or are we participating in our own stagnation? We call that evolution. Money, 6 out of 10 diseases can be traced back to stresses about money. So it's worth it to unlearn the garbage that we learn about money and start to participate in a healthy relationship with money. Our work life impacts our thoughts and our feelings and stresses, etc. Our environment, like, what are we surrounding ourselves with? And then our purpose, how we age, and then our just building a general state of being that is a less welcome host to disease.
You know what is so interesting, that would you agree that we were taught nothing but lack?
Totally.
Less than, not enough. Always look outside of yourself to get the approval, the acceptance, and so we were taught into this realm, this this energy of never think or feeling, because what I teach my clients is that thinking is like pulling experiences from the past and the future, which disconnects you from the present, and the present is where creation is made. Would you agree?
I partially agree with that. I think we do need the mind, and so mastery of the mind to me is crucial, because that's where much of our biochemistry comes from. Every time we have a thought, it produces a chemical. That chemical goes to the cells of the body and instructs the cell how to operate. So thinking is important, but mostly people's minds use them instead of them using their mind. So if you can only do one thing, and this is the thing I did for the first 3 weeks that started to shift my body, like holy shiftballs kind of shift.
Mm-hmm.
And that is start watching your thoughts for negative thinking, because we're mostly programmed to have 70% negative thinking. So we all have lots of it. So there's plenty of opportunities. Watch for those negative thoughts and then practice stopping them. So if I'm thinking like Susie over there is a bitch, I'm going to stop that thought because it's a negative thought. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not. Like, who cares? It's a negative thought, and it doesn't serve. So just stop it. And then you keep on practicing that and practicing that. That's where you start to gain mastery over your thoughts. And then you can catch them even before they come, because that's where the feeling part comes in. You can feel them start to generate, and then you can stop them before they even start. So that changes your biochemistry, and it seems like a big deal. It seems like it's a tall order. Like, we have, I think the last research was like 176,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of biochemistry.
That's a lot.
But in order to make the shift that you need, you only need to shift like 1.47% to 3%. So it's just a tiny thing that can make a big impact.
And it's the
awareness.
Would you say, this is the question, would you say that it's the major thoughts, like the major emotional thoughts that you go, okay, wait, Now we're going to, because the larger the emotion, the larger the biochemical change in your body, which
Truth.
means the more the damage or more healing.
Yeah, exactly right. And really, it doesn't matter. Yes, catch those ones, but and then there's a different protocol for emotions. But if you're just watching your thoughts, like when you're having a shower or something, and then practice stopping it, and do not replace it with a positive thought. Do not.
Oh,
Yes.
What would you say once you catch the thought to regulate, to see where this frequency, energy, vibration is showing up within the body without having to label it?
You don't
but
have
just
to.
say, "Oh my God," like
No, you don't
you
have
don't
to.
have to.
It's interesting to find that out, but is it useful? Not necessarily. Because you can just like really you can change your biochemistry in the shower or on the couch or whatever. You don't have to. Why not replace it with a good thought? Okay.
yeah. Why not replace it with a good thought, Patricia?
Because that's
But would
just
you
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Nope.
Bethany. Oh. Okay.
No, go
So
ahead. Finish it.
you don't replace it with
I got a great
with
one.
a positive you don't replace it with a positive thought, because our conscious positive thinking, A, does not penetrate the subconscious, so it's useless, and B, it's just more manufactured noise. So if you're in a particular brainwave state, yes, it does. But if you're not in a particular brainwave state, which most people aren't, then it doesn't penetrate the subconscious, and you'll keep on having it. What you want to do is leave that blank spot, because then what happens is your true nature rises to the level of your consciousness, and your true nature is joy, and the chemicals of joy are healing chemicals.
And it's like being mesmerized by
Patricia,
a fire. Like if you have Bethany, if you have a fire, you're watching a fire, you just get mesmerized by that, and it blocks all thoughts. You just go into a space and a place where you can enjoy and relax. And is that the state you're like, block the thoughts and just allow happiness and joy to come?
It's partially it, but the difference is you don't wait for an outside source to change you.
No.
Right. You create it on the
of
inside.
choice.
Yeah.
So Patricia, where would the power of choice come into all of this? What do you choose to think, feel, believe, and allow into your where is the infinite being that you get to choose?
I believe that the power of choice is the cornerstone of humanity. Without it, we have nothing. So if I'm having negative thoughts, I can choose to stop them. And I can choose not to entertain them in my body. I can choose not to entertain the biochemistry that results from them. And I can choose to do better for the cells in my body in that way.
Yes.
So would it be an interesting conversation? Are you choosing to be a victim of your own reality, or are you choosing to be sovereign and say, you know what, I am not gonna, excuse me, Ron, our producer, I'm not choosing that for myself. I'm going to choose something different because it does not show up for me in which feels comfortable for me. Sorry, Ron.
Our producer doesn't like it when we cuss. When we swear, he doesn't like it.
I like a little potty mouth. So
we do too. You're in the right place.
Obviously.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we teach in the evolution piece, so of the 12 key areas, is the bottom layer, like the lowest energy that you can live in, is the victimhood energy. And so why would you want to? If you can have a choice to level up, why would you want to stay in the lowest? Oh, totally.
They choose to.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes
it's what they're used to. It's breaking habits. It's really breaking habits of all this happened to me, and this person did this to me, and that person did that to me, and this person said that, and I mean, we all are guilty of it. I actually had a family member tell me in July, You're just too sensitive because I reacted to something somebody said. And you know what? 100%. They were right. I was being sensitive in that moment.
But here comes the power back. Are you reacting or are you responding? Which one are we doing? And there is two energetic presences that you can choose to step into.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna deep dive, but yeah.
That would be a whole other conversation as well.
Yep,
but I
that's
think
that,
that is a good point, though, because mostly when we're reacting, it's from those patterns that somebody else gave us. So it's not even our own reaction. So why would you want to keep doing that? And then when you're responding, you get that pause and you know, do I need to respond that way? So, or do I need to react that way? So
there's a choice. There's a reaction is what you've been, is being insane, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. That reacting is response is I have a choice and I'm going to choose something different so I can have a different outcome come in.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's true.
It's hardest, I find, and maybe it's not your experience, but it's from my experience, it's hardest to take a step back from family. Because you're so programmed to respond. You're still, or not to react. You're so programmed to react because that's the way it's been for 30, 40, 50 years, whatever the case may be. It's that to me, you can take a step back from anybody else in a business meeting, in a, wherever you are, and it's fine. You can look at someone and go, oh, okay, well, you know what, that's okay. And, you know, I choose to respond this way instead of reacting. But you get into a group of family and you're...
That's why relationships are one of the key areas for that reason specifically, so that you can start to change that pattern for yourself. And really the impact that it has on your family when you start to do that is phenomenal.
And what is so interesting, our families is what has brought us who we are right here, right now. So by you choosing something different to experience, that allows them to show up differently because you choose something different. You're no longer feeding into narrative and allowing them to control your outcome. You're choosing.
That's right.
Hey, you know what? This no longer is working for me. No, I love you, brother, and I do love my brother. My brother is a big asset in my family. My brother, you know, he's a great man, and you know, when I chose to do something differently, my brother absolutely showed up differently in a way that blew me out of the water. He came and was able to show me his heart because I chose to respond differently to him, and it was the most. My brother is my biggest supporter now. My brother is my world, and so that taught me.
I got
a great question for you, Patricia, because we were talking before we came on camera. So what is it about different energies, beings, animals that has brought the biggest modality for you?
I think for me now, well, first of all, I'm going to start way back there. Since I was just like this big, I just dreamt of living on a farm. And I just thought that would just be the most magnificent thing ever. And I never figured out quite how to do that until I did. And now I live on a farm. And so I think what I like about, I'm not sure that I would say that it's the biggest healing modality for me, but here's what I know from science, from Qi Gong, and from experience. My horses have a bigger magnetic field than I do. It's like 20 times that of human beings, and so they can feel us coming from yards and yards away, where we can feel it, you know, depending on sensitivity level. The three of us here have higher sensitivity than most people, so we could feel it coming from a longer way away. But for most human beings, it's like 8 feet, and for horses, it's like yards and yards, like 20 yards or 30 yards or 50 yards, something like that. I can't remember what the number is, but it's a long way away. And then when I'm in 20. Okay. When I'm in their proximity, and because their magnetic field is more powerful than mine, my body is designed to conform to their magnetic field. And so when I get into their proximity, automatically you can just feel your body kind of down regulate.
It's a grounding
And
presence.
totally. Yeah. And then the longer you spend with them, who cannot get addicted to that, for heaven's sake? And so in that regard, like I go out a few times a day. It's winter now, so I don't ride that much, but I still go out a few times a day. And just being in their presence, if I have I have like 7 days a week of super busy days, and just being out there for 20 minutes to an hour, it just changes the whole picture of everything, and it just makes the rest of the next few hours joyful.
It grounds you and elevates your consciousness at the same time.
It does that. Exactly right. Because you're getting rid of all that human static.
Yes.
And so that's the elevation of consciousness. It's just the removal of junk that we carry around as human beings out of habit.
But it's so interesting that, what I have found with the animal kingdom is that they don't allow the dumbest to lead the pack. I can't say that for the humans.
Yeah.
But what I have found so interesting is that, the animal kingdom shoes. And what do we call the bottom of our shoes?
Souls, yeah.
Because the animals connect. They are grounding. They are facilitating. They are getting the energy from the earth, because they don't have souls on our shoes.
Yeah.
Because when we put our feet, we are no longer allowed to connect with frequency of the earth.
That's right.
Because when you think about it, if lightning strikes you and you're wearing something rubber, it doesn't allow the energy to go into the ground. So
Good point.
It grounds you in a sense that you're not going to feel it and have it go into the ground. So the rubber on the soles of our shoes prevents us from grounding to the earth and getting the amazing frequency from the earth's magnetic field.
Yeah. And that's why I go out in bare feet in the weather, go out in bare feet for sure. Yeah. Love it. You guys are so good.
No, you're really good. You're bringing out the good in us, Patricia. You are bringing out the good in us. Yeah, go barefoot.
Well, Patricia, go ahead. I cannot wait what you're going to tell me. I love it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a sister who has been barefoot her whole freaking life. Like, she hated shoes. She wouldn't wear shoes. Yeah, she took them off. It was barefoot all the time. And we used to laugh at her all the time. We grew up in the country, so we were barefoot a lot. But my sister Debbie could not wait to come home.
In Canada?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
You wore shoes. You wore shoes. Wow. Eat your heart out, Floridians. Eat your heart out, Floridians. Wow.
But she's very grounded and very, she resonated with the earth and with animals, and Deb really had a natural vibe going on for a lot, and that's because she grounded so much, right?
Yes.
And she just allowed that natural energy to flow through. So
yeah, I was the same. Yeah. Well, I like your sister already. Yeah.
Me too. I was the same too. If I didn't have to wear shoes, I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, Patricia, both Sharon and I would like to totally thank you so much from our hearts to yours. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for being on the Holy Shiftball podcast. If our audience members would like to connect, follow, gather any more information in which you can help elevate them through all of your consciousness awareness, how would they get a hold of you?
Just patricialoff.com. That's where my website is. There's a bunch of free stuff that you can get started on. And just so you can start to feel the power in your own body and how to cultivate that and make it stronger than medicine.
And the one thing I would like to say is that, Patricia, from what I'm understanding, is that your energy frequency course that you have, protocol, it's also about preventative medicine. Don't wait until you have the diagnosis.
Totally.
Contact you when they're feeling great and they want to continue to feel great. That's when they need to reach out to you, so they can bypass all of the medical.
Yeah, like
things
if you're
that come
just
up when you have a
relying,
diagnosis.
yeah, if you're just relying on food and exercise to get you to the end of your life in a healthy way, that's only 5% of what you need to.
Yes.
So you're missing out on a big piece. But yeah, you're right. The preventative piece, it makes you just about bulletproof, truly.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And Patricia, would you agree that everything is energy, frequency, and vibration? And once you understand the energetics of it, you can shift it, change it, and maneuver into something different.
100%. 100%.
So Ron asked a great question. So if I do the other 95%, in other words, tuning into your course and understanding what the other 95% is, then he can eat whatever he wants.
Almost. Yeah, almost.
Mhm.
Although here's what happens though, Ron. Once you start doing this other thing, you feel the honor of your own body, and you don't want to put junk in it. So the desire
Once
to
you
eat.
start
Exactly.
elevating and getting that higher frequency, the lower processed foods no longer accommodate. It's just like, oh shit, I felt like I ate a rock.
Yeah, and there's just no desire for it, because
Exactly.
you just love yourself too much.
Yeah. Well,
because
Patricia,
you're living,
go ahead, Sharon.
because you're living that higher vibrational frequency, and food either lowers or raises your vibrational frequency.
That's right.
Because it changes your biological. It changes your
does.
biology. And so that when you start really living in that higher vibrational frequency, you're not eating the lower vibe foods anymore, because your body just doesn't want them. You don't need them.
And you're not interested in them. The interest
Exactly.
goes away. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Patricia, thank you so much for coming on the Holy Shiftball podcast this week. You have shifted so much in not only Sharon and I's awareness, but our audience. And we are just so grateful to have you here today. I hope you'll come back in 2026, because Sharon and I have got a bunch of shifting, changing, elevating, and fun, elevating moments. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, ladies, so much. This was very fun. Thank you.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
Wow, Sharon.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Patricia is amazing. She's got so much knowledge, and she's on our page. It's all about vibration, frequency, and self-mastery. And I can hardly wait to have her back in 2026 if she's willing to come back on, because she has so much more to share. We didn't even delve into her program on self-mastery. So we've got that to explore.
That's why what I hope to invite her back for us is to really, because she is a plethora of information, and on a frequency, elevation, dropping the mind, step art, allowing, accepting, following through. So yeah, I think this will be an amazing conversation to have, once we shift in 2026. So who do we have on next week's podcast, girl?
We have Jenny Hayes on next week, and we're not going to tell you much about her, because we will do our teaser video or our intro video on Mondays like we normally do. So just understand that she's another wonderful guest, and we will explain and introduce you to her on Monday.
So guess what, Sharon? Remember, when life kicks you in the balls, be sure to tune in to the Holy Shiftball podcast.
And you can watch us on YouTube at Holy Shiftballs, on Facebook at holy.shiftballs, or Rumble at Holy Shiftballs. And you can tune into Rhode Island Broadcasting and watch us live. It's also live on YouTube. But when life kicks you in the balls, and what was that? When life kicks you in the balls.
When life kicks you in the balls, be sure to tune in to the podcast,
where we will take that shit and help you turn it into shift. See you next week.
Till next time.